Time to wake up. I need a good cup of coffee right about now. Today's a big day.
Character mugs are nothing new in the world of merchandising. We can get a multitude of different characters from a plethora of different franchises, and they can either range from really solid depictions of such characters, or could be the biggest abomination created by humankind. It shouldn't be a surprise that soon after that, Thomas would get his treatment as well, with mug company Applause Inc. coming to produce and distribute them. Released in 1995, the first line of Thomas character mugs were released, which would include a set of 4, that being Thomas, Daisy, Terrence, and the infamous Harold mug. To begin, this has to be the oddest character selection I've ever seen in a collectible range. Obviously, Thomas is a no-brainer, and Harold does make some sense, as he was pretty often promoted a lot during the 90s. But Terrence? And Daisy? Really? I think Daisy is the oddest one from the group, since Terrence was seen in promotional material too. And Daisy was mainly kept for toy ranges, and getting her rectangular shape wouldn't be easy to translate into a mug. To be honest, getting all the character shapes down to a simple drinking mug would be quite a task to accomplish. So, how do they accomplish that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. They just squash them together. Yeah, so it turns out that squares and rectangles don't make good fits for drinking mugs, especially not comfortable ones to drink out of. Of course, these weren't ceramic mugs, as I don't think there would be a market for Thomas mugs, and plastic cups did seem like a cheaper and safer bet to go with. But enough of that, let's take a look at the characters themselves. Here we have the full set of Applause cups, so why don't we get started? Let's start with the main man himself, Thomasthetankengine. On first impressions, he has some of the basic detailing down, with some striping, wheels, funnel, smoke box, and of course the number 1. Considering his body is made of many shapes, making him a straight up box is both clever and hilarious. You can tell the design team had a think on going with this little blue puffer, with what they could do. I'm really liking the face they gave on him. It's very Thomas-like, which is what you need. On the back, you can see the fading branding information of the cup, reading 1995. To give a sense of scale, let's do some quick comparisons. Starting off here, we got a Trackmaster Thomas and Wooden Railway Thomas. Here's a Subway Thomas and Lego Duplo Thomas. Now, we have a McDonald's Thomas and this weird looking Chibi Thomas. Finally, here we have the Cool Props Thomas and the Minis Thomas. Wait, where's the Minis Thomas? Oh, there you are. What are you doing in there?
I've come here to finally get rid of you, and to also get rid of all of those pieces of junk you call Thomasandfriends merchandise. Only minis will last now, and I will be the ruler and king. Wait,
Get out of here.
Wait, no!
Here's some quick scaling with the other cups. When mix matching them, they look nice together, regardless of the pairing. Honestly, Thomas does look nice despite his goofy looking appearance. He's pretty recognizable, and def a solid one of the set. Now, who else compares? Now, Terrence is an interesting looking one. Even though the set only has 2 engines, where the other 2 are other vehicles, Terrence is really condensed. I'd say he was probably the easiest to design, especially considering he really just needed his caterpillars, a small motor, and a ginormous face. And I do mean ginormous. He took up the whole bloody space, in fact. I'll say his face is really accurate though, they were spot on designing that. Here you can better see his branding on the back with more clarity. I'll give it to Applause. They're currently 2 for 2 on their cups. They get their simplicity down to just the right amount. So, who's next? Well, who's this? Oh, of course, how could I miss Daisy? Now, Daisy has a bit more detail than I would have expected to be translated. The carried design of her lining going all around the cup is a nice touch, and to accompany that, she's given 2 large windows too. On the front, she has her lamp and sign, with the 3 front windows right under them, and of course her dazzling face. Now, Daisy's face isn't done too bad. The attention to makeup is done a bit overly, but it helps identify her too. She also strangely received buffers, unlike Thomas. But of course, Daisy also didn't have a large smoke box, sacrificing most of the front. Here's also the back where her branding is. Despite being an odd pick, I'd say she was executed extremely well. But wait, we still have one more to check out. How could he possibly— oh yeah, we saved the best for last, ladies and gentlemen. The famous Herald mug is in our presence. Now, I like what they did with Herald. Considering their limitations, especially when translating a helicopter, of all things, has such a unique shape, so making him would be pretty difficult, right? Well, they cleverly integrated his shape to fit a cup. The most notable fact being that his face was stretched out, which makes it even funnier considering his face is part of the helicopter. So we're given this chubby, elongated face, and man, is it a hilarious one. Herald is given just as much thought as the rest, with all his applied detailing, as his lining does also go all around the entire cup. He also has his windows going all around too, and the addition of his propellers was of course detrimental. I also find it quite humorous how shrunk they made them. Look how tiny they are and look at his face, it's such an eyesore. He does have his own following, so I can respect that. An interesting detail is that his name and Thomas's number 1 are the only printed details in the entire set. The rest is molded, which is actually really awesome. Rounding out the set, and yeah, they're all really well put together. Applause made sure to capture the necessary details and added some which could have been all left out, and I appreciate them even more for that. What a nice little set this was. You're all dismissed. This set was sold for a few years, and made a good profit. However, as many other licensed cups, it too would be discontinued soon after, ending the run of the famous licensed character cups. While this did bring an end to the range of characters, Thomas was surprisingly brought back, this time as a solo character in 2019, and with a new redesign accompanying a more suitable drinking mug shape and carrying a CGI look. He is missing some notable features that the original did have, such as wheels and more striping. Funnily enough, they gave him a bigger smoke box and a face which makes him look beyond goofy. As of current day, there hasn't been a new release of a Thomas character mug in his reboot style, which honestly isn't a bad thing, although I could see it happening in the future. Editor's note, it's come to my attention that the reboot is being discontinued. Whether that's true or not is still undecided at this moment. But if so, then yeah, we're not getting another character mug anytime soon. But that's a look at the Thomasandfriends character mugs. A very weird but charming piece of merchandise. It really shows that Thomas was a king back in its heyday when you can slap his face on practically anything. I know it ended up selling like hotcakes, and I'm all for it. Well, except now. You can give me my money back. Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. There's been quite a lot that's happened these past few months. We've seen so many surprises that are in store this year for the franchise, and we're not even halfway through this year, and there's yet still more to come. I also wanted to say that last month was my 5-year anniversary on YouTube, where I just want to give thanks to all of my supporters. And if you're new to the channel, then hello, I hope you enjoy some of my other content available. There's a variety for you to choose from. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on these character cups. I know it's such an odd topic, but I thought I'd cover something strange but fun for this new installment. There's a lot yet to unpack this year, so stay seated and enjoy the ride. Happy 88th Railway Series. You're a treasure to cherish.